Hello everyone, leelee here, and welcome back to another episode of This Month in Phantom Forces. Today I'm going to be talking about everything from the month of November that was game news, updates, and all of that. So starting off with the in-game updates, we first had the Halloween theme being removed on maps at the start of the month, and consequently winter maps were added in. We also had some Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales for credits, so if you missed out on that, you did miss some good deals. And then most recently at the end of this month, we have had a lot go on. So we got a new deploy screen background, it just shows all of the guns that are in the game, and it's got some posters, and it looks pretty cool. I have seen some people call it ugly, and I don't really know why, or they just don't like it for some reason. Maybe it's laggy for them, I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool, and it's definitely better than the white background that we just had before, so I don't really know how you could complain about that. I guess if you liked the white background, maybe you don't like this, but yeah, cool little deploy screen update there. And then we had some map changes as well as a new map make its way into the game. Luck is a new map that might be replacing Dunes. I heard that Shay was going to do a poll on if Dunes should stay in the main game alongside with Luck. I don't know if that's for sure or not, but Luck was originally made to kind of replace Dunes, and it addresses a lot of the problems that Dune has. You know, one of the things that Luck addresses is kind of the sightlines and the kind of roof accessibility that Dunes has. With Dunes, you can get some crazy sightlines, and yes, it is a sniping map, but these sightlines did allow people to shoot into the enemy spawn from quite a ways away, and I think that Luck definitely fixes some of those. I have seen people criticize the map, and some of the criticisms do seem kind of baseless to me. I've seen a lot of people complain about the invisible walls, but I don't think that's a problem because you can still play the game pretty well without needing to jump onto every roof possible. Like, where the invisible walls are placed are areas where you don't need to, like, it's not impeding the gameplay, it's not taking away from the gameplay. You just can't go on the roof, so I think that's fine. The map was designed with flow and sightlines in mind. Next, highway revamp was put into the game, and this is a revamp that we've seen different iterations of it in the test place, but we never really saw much come from that. But now we do have, I guess, the final version, and highway was one of the maps that has been long awaiting a revamp. It got updated here and there, but it never really had the big revamp like a lot of the other maps have had. And this revamp addresses a lot of the issues that the map had, especially regarding spawns and some layout stuff. So I think that this is fun to play. I've seen people complain about this as well. Don't really know why they're complaining. It doesn't seem like I don't see many issues with it. Maybe that's just my experience, but it does address a lot of the problems that old highway had. Next, we have the Ravid revamp. There are some minor changes to it. It got a visual overhaul. There are some areas in the spawn areas where they're more built up and there's some structures there, and the area of play has been more confined in those areas. Rooftops have more cover, which that's not a bad thing. I think they could have used some more cover. There is now an extra accessibility point from the bottom of the building up to the rooftop, which is kind of nice because there were games where the enemy team, or maybe the team that you were playing on, you could get absolutely shut out from the rooftops, and on a map like Ravid, having control of the roofs is very important to winning the game, I feel like. So maybe with this extra way to contest the roofs, we'll see a bit more back and forth. Maybe it'll make it more competitive sometimes. I don't know, I have yet to really see the full effects of it, but I do like the changes that are added in. Visually, it looks nice, and then there are just some other stuff added in, like some cover stuff and more extensive walkways inside the buildings. And then lastly, the last map change that we really had was to Crane Site. It didn't get a revamp, but it just had some small changes to it that I think can go a long way. There was some more cover added to the rooftops, especially on the Phantom side, and now the central parking garage, it has like not necessarily railing on the rooftop, but it's like a lip where there's more cover there, which is nice. I don't really see why people would have a problem with that. And then with the office building, there's a new connecting walkway to the actual parking garage, which is nice. I don't know how big of an effect that will have, but it is just a nice thing to have, I guess. And then I guess probably the biggest change was the crane got moved to be a more central position, and I've seen people complain about this as well. If anything, it just makes the getting onto the crane more competitive. Hopefully this update does address some of the things, like with the crane. We see a lot of people try to play for the crane, they like to go on it, so maybe this will cause a lot more kind of combat areas around the crane and just make it fun and more competitive if people are trying to go for the crane. And then lastly, CTF was added into the main game. CTF was something that we saw in the test place a while back around the same time as Kill Confirmed when all that happened. It did not make it into the main game at that time though, it was still under testing. And then it was re-added back here in November, went through some more testing, and is now inside of the main game. So be sure to check that out. I do find it pretty fun to play. That is all from the main game from November. Moving on to the test place, we had a ton happening in the test place this month. Pretty much everything that I mentioned for the main game started in the test place this month. So let's get into it. First, we had some more maps added in. Aquarium, baseplate, and paintball were all maps that were added in. Baseplate and paintball seem to be joke maps. Baseplate is literally a baseplate. And then aquarium is a map that I don't think it's complete necessarily. It still definitely has some work that needs to be done on it, which is why it is in the test place. And then apparently Call of Robloxia 5 maps are like secretly in the test place. I don't know how true this is, I've only heard it from other people, but apparently someone played the D-Day map and I guess they're kind of secretly in the map rotation, so there's a chance for them to end up there. I don't think we're gonna see them in the main game at all, but definitely a bit of a throwback there. And then next up, the TCR and ECR have new sounds. I know a lot of people complained how they did not sound very great when they first came out, and they also have some balancing changes to them. TCR, I didn't expect to get any balancing changes, but the ECR does have some. The ECR has been a gun that has come under criticism for not necessarily being as good as the other battle rifles. It's still a decent gun, but hopefully these changes can make it more competitive. And then a lot of guns got the ability to have alternate aim styles. My personal favorite is the Deagle, and then many of the secondaries got the ability to have rails on them, which opens them up to more attachments, and some other guns got the ability to add attachments on, and I think there was a lot more balancing stuff that happened. I will have a link to that in the description. It is a subreddit post, and it outlines a ton of stuff that happened in the test place. Some of that is from last month, so I did mention it in the last episode of this month in Phantom Forces, but there's a lot of other stuff that I will not mention in this video that is mentioned there, so be sure to go check that out. It will be linked in the description. And then there was also a new aimbot, anti-cheat, and other internal backend fixes put into the test place. And then probably the biggest kind of plethora of updates that we had was a ton of new guns were added in. We got the G3, we got the MP1911, Saiga U, AK105, AK103, FAL 50.63 Para, MC51, FAL Para Shorty, MSG90, Brass Knuckles, SA58 SPR, the Nightstick, PPK12, SVK12E. There might even be more than that at this point, but those were all added into the test place. Some are new, some are stuff that we've seen in previous episodes of this month in Phantom Forces, and then some are guns that were previously in the test place, then got removed and are now re-added. So that would be the G3, MP1911, Saiga U, AK105 and 103, and the PPK12. It's good to see those back. I do enjoy using those, and that is really all from the test place. I definitely recommend that you go and try out a ton of the new guns. Right now, I don't think the test place has them because I think that the test place version also was updated to the main game version, which the main game doesn't have the new guns in them, of course. And so the test place, since it was changed to be that version, it doesn't Anyway, I think we'll probably see them get re-added back, and if they don't, it's possible we see them in the winter update. I think that the map changes we got today kind of mark the start of the winter update, so maybe it can continue into December when we get new guns. Moving on to our featured Reddit posts, I don't have too many. I have the list of test place updates like I mentioned before for you to check out, and then there was a post where you can vote for Phantom Forces in the Bloxy Awards, so if you would like to support Phantom Forces and maybe get them an award, be sure to vote for that. And then lastly, we have our meme of the month titled, "Let's admit it, we have all done that once," by Reddit user Have a Bowl, Mr. Squidward. That is all from the featured Reddit posts. Moving on to stuff from the Stylis Discord and other community stuff. The Stylis Discord hit 60,000 members, so congrats on that milestone. And then the More Guns for PF Place, which I believe I mentioned in a previous episode of This Month in Phantom Forces, has been updated to have more guns in it. The Falpera is there, MSG-90, MC-51, HK-21, HK-51B, and the SA-58 SPR are in there. There could even be more in there now. I haven't checked it in a while. I have been quite busy. But be sure to check that out if you just kind of want to look at the pretty models that are of the guns and maybe see some other guns in there. That is all from the Stylis Discord and other community stuff. We had quite a busy month going on here. That is all from November though, with the community news and updates and just everything that happened from the month of November surrounding Phantom Forces. That is all for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.